What's good, people? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things boxing. Do remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. So let's get into this one. So, as I made a video yesterday and the news broke last night that Daniel Dubois, he's sick, he's fallen ill with sort of an undisclosed illness, and we're now going to have Martin Bakole as the 11th hour last minute replacement. And this is, for me, a fantastic replacement opponent. And in this one, I'm just going to talk about what I think as far as a prediction for this fight. Who do I think is going to win between Joseph Parker and Martin Bakole? And to be honest, straight up with you, as I said yesterday, I think this is going to be a tough fight. But for me, my pick by a slight margin is going to be Joseph Parker. And my reasons for picking Joseph Parker are quite straightforward. I think that, I base it all on the fact that Joseph Parker is in camp. Joseph Parker has now peaked. He's now ready to peak on tomorrow evening. He wasn't going to fight Martin Bakole. Daniel Dubois is a little bit of a different style, but Dubois also sort of a come forward, big, strong, tough, hard punching heavyweight, and Martin Bakole is probably a slightly, at least heavier, strong heavyweight that comes forward, punches in bunches, and he's another sort of style, big puncher, dangerous, strong, tough, got all the attributes there. So I think for me, of the two of them, you just can't bet against a guy that's been in full proper preparation for a fight, and he's going in there. Okay, Martin Bakole's not Daniel Dubois, but for me, just based on that, and I think also I'm basing it on what I perceive to be Martin Bakole's lack of fitness, because from what I understand, he was in Congo, and he's flying. That's where he's flown in from. Excuse me. And I just reckon, yes, he might be sort of gym fit, so he will have some level of fitness, but I think personally that he's going to be slightly overweight, and I think he's not going to be at sort of in his. It's not possible really to be in your peak physical condition when you're not ready to fight, when you're okay, you've heard of a fight, you've got an announcement, but you're not, he wouldn't be in the full flow of his training. He'll be at a stage where he's just in the beginnings. He's just, taking weight off. He's at the very early stages of camp, if he was in camp at all. Because that fight versus Ajagba, that would have probably been in about May. So we don't know whether Bakole was in proper camp, but I think he's definitely gym fit. He's been sparring. He's been training hard. But I think the condition he's in is probably what will let him down on tomorrow evening, because I think he'll have probably a very good early part of the fight. I think the first, let's say, first half of the fight, at least the first, I would say, 4 rounds, Martin Bakole, if he's got sense, which he definitely does have sense, he'll be going for Joseph Parker. He'll be gunning for him. He'll be throwing everything at him, and he'll be looking, if he's, sensible, to use his attributes, punches and bunches, throw the combinations, just put it on Joseph Parker, push Joseph Parker back, and he'll be looking to take Joseph Parker out early in the fight. And I think that's where Joseph Parker will be a bit slick and a bit smooth, and Joseph Parker will be able to sort of stay out of his way in those early rounds. And as Martin Bakole fatigues, which I believe he inevitably will, as we go from sort of rounds 4 to 5, 6, 7, 8, as we get into those middle and later rounds, I think that's where Joseph Parker takes over and racks up enough rounds to beat Martin Bakole on points. I think for me, based on fitness and where each man will be in terms of a camp, I just think Joseph Parker, he's at a proper camp. He's fit enough. He can do the 12 rounds. He's got a decent engine, and I just think in my opinion, he will weather the early storm from Martin Bakole, because he'll be expecting Martin Bakole to come at him full steam ahead, come at him like a train and try to just decapitate him, try and take his head off. And I think Joseph Parker weathers the early storm from Martin Bakole, stays out of his way, moves his feet, uses the movement, and just stays out of the way of the most dangerous punches. And as we get into the later rounds, Joseph Parker begins to let his hands go and begins to sort of take over the fight. And I reckon Parker wins safely on points, or he may decide to just throw caution to the wind as Bakole gets tired, keep letting his hands go, and he might even be able to take Martin Bakole out. And that is, as I said, that's purely based on Martin Bakole not having a full camp and Joseph Parker having a full camp. If Martin Bakole did have his full camp, then you could say, I'd probably, like most other people, would back Bakole because the style and everything he has, the marauding style, I think he could do it for 12 rounds and probably beat him. But based on where both men are, fitness wise, I just think Joseph Parker wins this, most probably on points, but even it's possible for a late stoppage, as I say, purely based on the fitness levels of both men. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and until next time, it's MKO Boxing, over and out.